Hey guys, so today I'm going to be explaining 3-2-3 edge pairing to you and giving a few tips for the last 8 edges on 4x4. So I'm going to start this video off by first explaining the concept of 3-2-3 edge pairing and why it works, and then I will give a few tips and tricks on the process to help you get a little faster. So the way I think of it is 3-2-3 is divided into 3 mini steps: 3, 2, and then 3. First you solve 3 edges, then 2, and then you do the last 3 edges. So the first step is to do the first 3 edges. You're going to start by slicing over. I like to do a U prime. Some people do U. It doesn't really matter as long as you're consistent and you're used to doing it. So I do a U prime, and then you look to see this piece back here, this edge piece. And technically this is called a wing, so this is what I'll call it throughout the rest of the video. So you're going to look at the top wing back here and find the matching one, which is right here. And I'm going to insert it so that the matching wing to this is on the bottom, and then when I do a U, not yet, but in a few seconds after the next couple edges, you see that it matches up. So before I slice back, I'm going to do the next 2 edges, and the next thing you want to do is look at the wing that is above the piece that you just solved, or technically it's not solved yet, but is the first edge that you have inserted. So I'm going to find the matching piece, which is right here, going to do U2, and I'm just going to insert it into the bottom wing spot so that when I do a U, it'll match up. But I'm going to do it one more time before I slice and match all the edges up. So I look here on top of the wing that I just inserted, and it's red and blue, which is right here. So I'll insert it into the bottom wing spot, and then now I can do a U prime, which solves that edge, as well as this edge and this edge. So you want to make sure that you're always inserting it into the bottom, because if you insert it into the top wing spot, like this, they're not going to match up because the second wing just moves in the top layer with the first one. So one thing you'll notice is that it's 3-2-3. It starts with a 3, and just like on a 3x3, there are 4 edges in the middle layer. So it's important to think of pairs of wings as a single edge piece, like on a 3x3. You already know that the middle layer on a 3x3 has 4 edge pieces. It is the exact same on a 4x4. There are 4 edge pieces on the middle layer. So after you slice back, it solves 3 out of these 4 edge pieces, leaving 1 that is unsolved. And the unsolved edge is how we're going to start the 2 in the 3-2-3. So after you've done the first 3 edges in the last 8 edges, you're going to move on to the second mini step, the 2. So you're going to look at the top wing in the unsolved spot in the middle layer, which is the orange and yellow one in this case. You're going to find the matching piece on the cube, which is over here. So you're going to insert it again into the bottom, and now we're going to slice to match these up. Next, to solve the second edge in the 2, we're going to replace this solved edge with an unsolved edge that'll match this wing piece, so that when we slice back, it'll match up. So you're going to look at this wing piece here, and it's the red and yellow one. The matching wing is right here, so we're going to insert it into the bottom like that, and then when we slice back, it solves that edge. Now if you look at the cube, you can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 edges that are solved, and only 3 that we need to solve. These are the 3 edges that we're going to solve in the final mini step. So again, only 1 edge in the middle layer will be unsolved, and this is where we'll start the last 3 edges. In fact, the last 3 edges are solved the exact same as the last 2 edges. So we look at this piece here, it's red and green, the matching wing is here, we insert it into the bottom, we'll slice over to match them up, and then we'll replace it with this wing back here, which is the green and yellow, inserting it into the bottom so that when we slice back, it solves that edge. And then you'll notice that this last edge is automatically solved. This edge piece has to be solved at the end because it has no other edge pieces to be mixed up with. And you can't have just one wing flipped around, because like on a 3x3, you can't just have one piece that's flipped. So it's really 3-2-2 edge pairing because you don't actually solve the last edge, it's just a freebie, but it's 3-2-3. On that topic, why is it 3-2-3? Why not 3-3-2 or something? Why does it have to be that order? And there are two main reasons for the order that it is. The first being what I just talked about, the last edge will automatically be solved at the end, so you really only have to solve 7 edges. If it was 3-3-2, you'd be solving all 8 of the edges, because you would be left with the last 2 edges at the end, and you'd have to do the flipping algorithm to solve the last 2. This leads me into the second reason. If you have 2 edges at the end, it is much harder to solve than 3. You probably already know that the nicest way to end a 5x5 edge pairing is with your last 3 edges like this, where each of the middle edges is matched up perfectly with a wing, like that. And it's really simple. You slice over to solve this edge, insert the unsolved edge, and slice back, and that solves all 3 of the last edges in just a few moves. It is the exact same on a 4x4, except the middle layer is hidden because we all know how even layered cubes work. So you will always get this easy last 3 edges case. There are multiple reasons that Yao is such a powerful method, and one of them is that it is so easy to look ahead during the last 8 edges. Because you've already solved the bottom 4 edges, it reduces the number of spots you have to look in for your last 8. You only have to look in the middle layer and the top layer. On top of that, you only need to find one edge piece at a time. Really, the only piece you need to be looking at is the top wing piece. Find the matching one, insert top wing piece, find the matching one, insert top wing piece, find the matching one, insert slice back. Also, you should be looking at the top wing at the easiest time. So, for example, if I slice first and then look, I have to look at the back of the cube to see what this piece is. But if I look real quickly right now, at the beginning, just before I start my last 8 edges, I see, oh, it's blue and yellow, I slice, and then I can insert. I don't have to turn the cube like this to see what's in the back to find the matching wing. There are a lot of special cases, and you will almost never end up with just straight 3-2-3. And there's no way to cover all of them in this video, but I will cover the really common ones and how I go about solving them. Sometimes when you get to last 8 edges, you'll have one edge that's already solved, and if that's the case, you only have to worry about solving 2 in your first mini step. So I'll solve the green and orange one, and then the blue and yellow one, and then slice over instead of solving a third one, because I already have my third one solved. And then I can continue doing just normal 2-3. Sometimes you'll have 2 edges already solved, and this, believe it or not, can be a little trickier. If they're both in the top layer, you can ignore them and do your first 3 edges just normally, and then you can actually skip the middle step of doing the 2 edges in the middle, and then do your last 3 edges. If one of them is in the middle layer like this, and the other is in top, I like to put the one that's in the middle layer on the top, and then proceed to do what I have previously discussed. Just do the first 3 edges, skip the middle step, and then do the last 3 edges. If both edges are in the middle layer, then you can slice over, and this breaks them up temporarily, but don't worry, just watch. So you can pretend that you've already solved these 2 pieces with their corresponding ones, because this piece, when you slice over, will come back on top of this one, and this piece, when you slice over, will come on top of this wing here. So you only have to solve one more piece in your first 3 edges, which is this one right here, so I'll insert, and then when I slice back, it solves this one, as well as resolving the first two that were already solved. And then you can continue just like normal. What if you slice and the wing you're looking for is not in the top layer? If it's not in the top, you know it's not in the bottom because these are already solved, so it has to be in the middle layer somewhere. So I look around and I see the green and red one, which matches with this wing here, is right in here. So you can just find it, take it out of the middle layer, put it into the top, and then insert it into the middle layer, and then continue just like normal. Sometimes when you're solving, you'll insert a wing, and then you're looking for this one, and you'll see it's already in the right place. If that's the case, just move on to the next one, because when you slice over, it'll solve it already, so you don't have to worry about inserting this one here because it's already there. Sometimes you'll slice, and the wing that you're looking for is in the right edge, but it's on the top instead of the bottom. If this is the case, you can do this algorithm, which is the same as the flipping algorithm you should already know, except you're leaving off the wide U prime and U at the beginning and the end. It goes like this. And now it's on the bottom, and when you slice back, it'll solve this edge. What if you're doing your second mini step and you find the first edge, but it's connected to the one you're going to replace it with? I can insert it and slice over, but now I can't replace it because I can't take this edge out of the back, because when I slice back, what's this edge going to be paired with? If this is the case, you can set them up so that they're adjacent to each other with matching on top and matching on bottom, and then just do the flipping algorithm. And that solves both of the edges, and then you can move on to the last three. So I lied earlier in this video. You won't always end up with that super easy last three edges case I talked about earlier. Sometimes you'll end up with two, and there are algorithms you can learn for each possible case, and I'll leave a link to those down in the description. But I don't recommend learning all of them right now, because if you're just starting out, they really aren't that necessary. I'm going to teach you two of those algorithms that are probably the easiest and the most useful, so I wouldn't worry too much about the other ones, just learn these two and you'll be set for a really long time. So this first case here can be recognized by the two unsolved edges next to each other, one in the front and one on the right, and each one is flipped relative to the other one. So what I mean by that is this one here has green and yellow on top, and this one has red and green on top. And believe it or not, you probably already know this algorithm. It's the exact same as this OLL on a 3x3. Except on a 4x4, you use wide R moves. So it goes like this. And that solves these two edges. The next one is very similar. So again, you have the unsolved edges in the front and on the right, but this time they're the same colors on top. So yellow and red here, and yellow and red here, except they're mirrored of each other. So if you drew an imaginary line diagonally across the cube, it's just a mirror. And it's the exact same as the last algorithm, but backwards. So it goes like this. And that solves the two edges. Any last two edges case can be easily set up into one of those two cases I just showed you. So for this one, I just take it into the top layer and do the algorithm I showed you. Another thing I'd like to mention is if both of the last two edges are in the middle layer adjacent to each other and set up to do so, you can just do the flipping algorithm, which you should already know. That's not every possible strange case that could occur, but it's definitely a lot of them, and for the other cases you'll just have to figure those out by yourself, as that is the best way, I think, to learn. So that's about it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.